China and the US are rivals in global stretches of power and diplomacy. Intervention in China-Taiwan dispute by the US made China rebel against US policies. China has taken strategic initiatives on the global stage and bent the diplomacy of the US in Asia, Africa, and European countries by trade and economic development. There is great pressure on Asian, African, and European states due to the economic packages that is being offered by China. This pressure is to get rid of the US bloc and join the economic development bloc of China. On diplomatic grounds, tensions existed between the US stretches of hard power and China's soft power in practically every major global countries. Global world order seemed useless and helpless against Chinese policies because the CIA chief visited China in May 2023. Al Jazeera TV exposed the secret visit of the CIA chief on 3rd June 2023. Washington accused China of supplying weapons and military aid to Russia against Ukraine, while China denied it. Let's explore the reasons behind the visit and how people perceive it. Financial Times reported on 2nd June 2023 that the Chinese suspected spy balloon that had been seen by the Biden administration in North America in February, and it provided the floor for the discussion in the G20 summit in Bali in November 2022. Dennis Wilder, a former CIA China expert, said that the US CIA agents have a long history of secret visits and secret diplomacy between the US and host countries. It reflects that the US plays private diplomatic moves when it cannot face the physical condition against its global world order. ABC News said that the secret visit of US officials to China is intended to continue the dialogue, which indicates that the US does not intend to adopt any aggressive stance towards China over Taiwan. While on the other hand, the US also wants China to freeze all the military support that is being provided to Russia. CNN News wrote that the CIA's chief visit to China was to reset the disputes between the two countries. It was the CIA chief, Bill Burns, who, as US officials last year, warned China not to take over Taiwan, but now visiting China for discussion. At present, his visit is about the lithium support of China to Russia against Ukraine. Experts believe that the US secret mission visit can be to deal with China in the form of give and take. It could be in the shape of a US soft corner for China against Taiwan, in case of China supports US diplomacy on the Ukraine issue against Russia. Formally, the expansion of Chinese investment around the globe is a threat to the US global world order. Stretches of power in global strategic positions are continuously favoring China. The US have been deploying army missions and wars in different regions, but China resisted these measures by investing in the countries. CEIC reported that China has expanded the investment up to $39 billion as compared to the previous quarter. Different Asian, African, and European countries are taking benefits from these investments, so it is becoming difficult for the US to maintain its global world order. In this regard, China is now viewed as a significant hurdle in the way of the US global world order. Voice of America claims that Chinese support for Russia had been reached to a critical point. It shows that support by China to Russia has been reached to unbearable situation for the US, and is affecting the US strategic and political concerns in Ukraine. Jason Lee reported that China had been exporting $1 million ammunition monthly to Russia. Politico claimed that China had been sending worth $100 million drones to Russia, which is 30 times more than US support to Ukraine. BBC News reported that, according to the US Center of Advanced Studies, China had been sending electronic parts of anti-aircraft missiles secretly to Russia. It is also noted that some Chinese companies are selling drones for gray space exploitation between military and civil aspects. The US believed that Chinese companies are sending non-lethal aids to Russia. It was claimed that these were not used for killing humans, but now it is possible that lethal assistance is also being sent to Russia by Chinese companies for killing humans. China Power expressed that China, by supporting Russia, will be able to make marginal gains in the Middle East and North Africa for the long term. It can be said that the CIA chief visit is not of low importance. The US understand that China is intended to expand its role in the Middle East and North Africa through Russia. Possibly, it can be said that the US wants to make a deal with China by not taking part in Taiwan issue. And in return, they also want diplomatic favor from China to freeze their support to Russia. Chinese stance is clear on Taiwan, as China considers it as an important part of its land and wants the US to stop intervention in Chinese territories or conflicted areas. On the other hand, it was clear by the US to attack the Chinese target due to Taiwan issues. But the decision was frozen in 2022 because the US was busy in Ukraine war. It is crystal bright that the US wants to decrease the disputes with China and is intended to rejoin China in power sharing. But it is also clear that Europe is considering the ethical winning of China against US proxies due to Chinese investment in different countries and US proxies of wars. Chinese investment in different countries and the message of not following the US rules and sanctions have ethically devalued the sanctions of the US in multiple countries. In this perspective, China had to stand by its stances because experts believe that it is a US issue to visit China, and Chinese officials have not observed it so seriously.